welcome back. Today we are going to SSH into our EC2 instance, install Git, and pull down our GitHub or our Bitbucket code. I'm going to show you guys something really quick that's really easy to do. You need to shut down your VirtualBox machine. Just close it, and it should be powered off. It should say powered off right here. YouTube series environment powered off. We're going to add a settings to this. That's going to be very cool and very useful whenever we want to share resources between our host machine and our virtual machine. I saved my PIM file on my host machine because it's easier to navigate to AWS and do all that stuff on my host machine, but it's easier to SSH into a EC2 instance on a Linux machine. So what I want to do is share that folder that I saved my PIM file with my virtual machine. So go ahead and click on, make sure that this is highlighted in blue, YouTube series environment, and then click settings. And then we're going to go to shared folders. We're going to add a shared folder. In the folder path, we're going to click this little down arrow and hit other, and we're going to navigate to wherever that folder is that we saved our PIM file. Mine was right here. Select the folder. I'm going to hit auto mount, and I'm going to uncheck read only because I want my virtual machine to be able to read and write to that folder, so I can save files and pull files from that folder. Hit OK, OK, and then start your machine. You needed to make sure that your machine was turned off because the settings will not be picked up until you restart your machine. And then let your machine boot back up, and we're going to get started on SSHing. I'm going to pause the video and let this boot. Hey guys, okay, now that that is booted, another thing that we have to do before we can access our shared folder, we have to go to, if you have it in full screen, you have to come down to the bottom of this, bottom of your page thing and pull up this little bar that pops up. If you're not in full screen, there should be a little standard file menu bar on the top. But I'm using full screen, so I need to go down here and go to devices. We have to install guest additions into our virtual machine, enable for so that we can use shared folders. So insert the guest addition CD image, and then this will pop up, hit run. Type in your password for your virtual machine, and then let it go through its stuff. While it's going through its stuff, I'm going to pause it. If anything pops up, I'll go ahead and start recording so you guys can see what I had to do. Fantastic. Okay, so it installed. The only thing that we have to do now is restart our machine. So go into machine and go to ACPI shutdown, and then shut down. So now your YouTube series environment is powered off. You can see that we have one shared folder. The guest edition should be installed, so let's go ahead and hit start. And then I'm going to pause the video again and let my machine boot up so that we're not wasting time watching my boot sequence. Alright, you guys, so the last thing that we have to do today to get our user able to EC2 SSH into our EC2 instance is add our user to the VBox user group. If you open up your file explorer and you look for SF YouTube assets or whatever the file you saved in your shared folders, you should be able to click on it, but you won't have permissions to access it. That's because the user that is currently logged on using this GUI in the media folder does not have sudo privileges, which is what is required for this YouTube assets folder. So let's go ahead and open up our terminal, and we're going to type in sudo su, and then type in the one password that you have set for your VirtualBox. Once you have that, you're going to type in usermod -a-g vbox sf, and then the username that you want to be added into the VBox user group. Mine is zaynettft, and then hit enter. Now what you have to do is you hit exit, and we have to reboot our machine one final time. I'll go ahead and show you guys another way to reboot. Go ahead and open up that little bottom window thing and hit the X button. And then that should have closed your machine. Where'd you go? Or caused it to stall out. Either way, I think. Okay. Interesting. Usually that just lets you exit out of the machine, but it looks like it actually froze my machine. Probably because I'm using a image capture program, and that's causing it to freak out. So I had to open up the terminal, and or not the terminal, but the task manager, and close it manually. That usually doesn't happen. Sorry that happened in the video. So if you go back, you should see that the YouTube series closed or got aborted, unless if you got the same error that I did and you had to use the task manager to close it. Go ahead and hit start on that virtual box again, and now what will happen is your user should be added to the VBox user group, and you should have remounted that shared folder because you restarted, and you should be able to access it now through your default username and user account. Again, I'm going to pause it and let it boot. Awesome. Okay, so now that our machine is booted, we should be able to open up our file explorer, go to YouTube assets, and we should be able to see all of our stuff saved. So that's pretty cool. We're actually able to go inside of that folder now. So now let's open up our terminal, and we're going to cd into the media file. Make sure you have a backslash in front of all of this so that it knows to start at the root of your folder. I'm going to go ahead and SF YouTube video assets. So now that you're inside of that folder that you have your PIM file saved in, we're going to get the command to run for SSH from AWS. So go ahead and open up that AWS console again, and right click on your instance and hit connect. And then this should pop up. You can use the Java SSH client directly from the browser. I do not recommend it. I don't like using it. I've always had problems. But now you want to copy this command, SSH -I, your PIM file, the location of your EC2 instance. You want to copy that and bring it back into your virtual machine. I'm going to hit Control-Shift-V, and there will probably be a couple steps that we have to go through before this is finished, but I want to show you guys the errors. So go ahead and hit yes, and then you'll notice, oh, you know what? I didn't get an error this time. Interesting. One thing that you might have to do, so if you see this, if you see Ubuntu, your IP address, congratulations, you have logged into your EC2 instance on AWS. However, there is a common issue that I found. Sometimes when you try to log into your EC2 instance, your PIM file, right after you first downloaded it, will not be at the right permissions. Sometimes you have to type in sudo change mod or chmod 400, and then the name of your PIM file. I've already done that and it works, so I don't have to do that. But if you do get an error message saying that your PIM file is too open, that is the command that you want to run to fix it. And then go back and run your SSH command. And then you should be able to go directly into your EC2 instance. This video ran a little long because we had to install so many things to get this up and running. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it here. In the next video, we're going to install Git, pull down our Flask, and try to connect it to our browsers. Cool, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and catch you in the next one.